Anything off the trolley, dear?
We take the fucking lot, mate.
So in today's video, I'm bringing you some juicy Twitter drama, but some of you might have already seen this. So basically, a woman called Ashlee Marie Preston recently featured on The Young Turks as a panelist. Now, she is a trans woman who is a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren. The initial outrage started because no one on the show or her herself disclosed that she was actually a surrogate for Warren, and the Young Turks audience felt uncomfortable that a lot of the time she would shift the conversation to Elizabeth Warren, and they felt like she was really changing the conversation away from Bernie when it didn't need to be. And obviously it goes without saying the TYT audience and pretty much the panelists as well all pretty much like Bernie Sanders above all other presidential candidates. So obviously they caught onto this, and then people started digging around on her Twitter, and people had found her smearing Bernie Sanders and calling him homophobic, essentially. So a tweet from the 18th of September 2019 says, "I know things about Bernie with receipts that are troubling around LGBTQ issues, specifically that made me a little irritated. I just don't have the bandwidth or desire to spark that kind of chaos and have to battle with people. Instead, I respectfully afford people their belief." So obviously, if a politically active trans woman tweets something like that, people are going to take notice, and then someone said, "Are you able to share? That would concern me too. I just haven't heard anything like that before." To which she replied, "I've heard people mention it, but they just don't have the receipts, and I'm literally on a radical self-care journey right now where I have limited my social media use, cut toxic people out of my life, and started choosing my battles instead of taking on the entire world, lol." So she didn't have any receipts, but she still just tweeted out, to her followers that she thinks Bernie has problems on his stance to the LGBT community. Not that Bernie's record is probably one of the best in America in terms of advocating for LGBT rights for decades, way before anyone else. You can see him advocating for gay rights in the 70s. That's far ahead pretty much any other politician who's still around today, isn't it? Think of Joe Biden, think of Hillary Clinton, think of even a Barack Obama who had to evolve on gay marriage. You have that famous clip that Bernie is taking down that Republican senator for saying homos in the military and everything. So Bernie's been great on these things. But one thing you should learn is that you shouldn't smear Bernie Sanders, because his people are going to investigate you to see what you are like. And it turns out Ashlee Marie Preston has tweeted numerous homophobic and racist things. Now, what the problem is with this video is that she's actually deleted most of these tweets, but I have got a few of them still, so I'm going to read them out. They vary from about 8 or 9 years ago to 1 year ago, and we're going to get into her response to all this criticism that she has got from just general people on the left. So Twitter user Melina Sun Deity says that, "Yikes, Ashlee Marie Preston being black doesn't give you a free pass to be racist against Asians. Now I see why you love the red-faced candidate who likes to silence other minorities," obviously referencing Elizabeth Warren saying that she's Cherokee, then she's not. So some of these tweets from 2011, "Another damn Asian almost hit me while crossing. What the fuck is it with y'all and damn vehicles? I have an idea," and then she tweeted a picture. But obviously the stereotype that Asians aren't good drivers goes on. "I almost got hit by an Asian in a BMW as I crossed the street. Yes, I know what you mean, but the important thing is that we didn't say it." Again, playing into the stereotype. "Just broke my phone on this Asian bitch's head. I have Asian friends, but they some motherfucking weirdo sometimes. I said it, but we all think it." So that one is totally awful. "Asian lady almost hit me in a crosswalk. Shake my head. I see I'm gonna have to dive off one of your bitches before 2011. Just cuss that Asian bitch clean the fuck out. You mess up my order and then blame me. English is my first language, bitch. Never ordering again." These are super, super racist things. "Latino and Asian businesses need to stop being rude and fucking disrespectful. I know it's a lot to ask in California, but speak fucking English. Yeah, I said it." So obviously these are super awful things. And in my live stream last Sunday, we did have a debate on who can be racist to who. And I said pretty much as a general concept, anyone can be racist to anyone. So obviously when a black person is racist to other people, they don't have the force of institutional racism backing them up, and they also don't have the same history like the way a white person is racist to a black person, Latino person or Asian person. But still, this is obviously racist. She's saying the exact same stuff white people often say. She's saying they can't speak English, she's saying they're awful drivers, she's saying they're really rude. So yeah, totally racist and totally, you know, out of order for someone who's a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren. It really does not look good in her campaign. Now to the homophobic stuff, and this is pretty telling just because she has called out Bernie Sanders for being homophobic. So she says, "Bro, I'd beat the dog shit out of you, furry, slipper, wearing ass, fuckboy. In real life, I'd smash your fucking head in like a can of A&W root beer, but I'ma fall back and let you keep pretending for the internet, dick rider." That was in 2018. So think of this tweet from 2018, September 2018, only basically 1 year ago. Think of this tweet when you read her response to the criticism. Like she says at the end, dick rider. So another one from her past, 2011. "I love gay men, but this county clerk at Window G is a motherfucking faggot with it. He's bald but rocking jewels, acrylic nails and silk scarves. Hashtag and shit." Now one more tweet to keep in mind when we read the response. She claims in her response she was dealing with a lot of problems. She was homeless, she was addicted to meth. So she tweeted this in 2011, around about the same time as the first racist ones and some of the homophobic ones. She says, "So this tweaker is out here with her homegirl and her sleeping kid begging for money. Tacky whore." You'd think someone who was homeless and addicted to drugs would have a bit more sympathy for a homeless woman with her kid sleeping on the street. So let's get to her response. She says, "Taking accountability for the past, staying rooted in the present and absorbing lessons for the future." So she says, "At the height of my meth addiction 8-9 years ago, I made a series of racially insensitive and homophobic tweets. I wasn't out yet and was dealing with internalized transphobia while homeless in a neighborhood where I felt culturally inferior. I'd stay up for days on end, tweeting from an impaired conscience while shadowboxing via tweet with anyone who made me feel less than. Although those tweets were resurfaced as a political play, I take full responsibility for my actions and deeply apologise to those I've offended or hurt. I also apologise to those indirectly impacted by these developments. At over 7.5 years clean and sober, I've learned to make amends when I'm wrong and to take complete accountability for my actions. I didn't have the education, information, mentorship or cultural competence I have now. I'm also not strung out on drugs and have a clean heart and mind today. My life in recovery has been a living amends in and of itself, and I fully intend to keep fighting on the front line for the rights of all marginalised people, as I've proactively done over the years and present day. While I deeply regret the past, it's a poignant reminder of how far I've come in healing, growth and personal development, and while maintaining my recovery is of the utmost importance, my life has always been an open book, and I never shied away from any details of my journey, no matter how unsettling, unflattering, or exposed they make me feel. Again, I apologise for my past actions, and I'm thankful to those who know exactly who I am and chose to love me through this moment, and to the people who dug up those tweets, thank you, I mean that with full sincerity. This gave me the opportunity to continue evolving, while clearing out the residual wreckage of my past. We can't heal what we don't reveal, but I'm prepared to delve deeper." So transitioning today is obviously really hard, and you face a lot of stigma from society, and you know, 10 years ago nearly, I guess it was way worse, because I feel in the last 10 years we have come a long way, even though there is a long way to go. But obviously when you see her tweet back then, you know, derogatory things about homeless people and gay people, I don't think it's an excuse I've evolved, because these are pretty awful things she said. But if she is being 100% truthful, I feel a little sorry for her if Twitter was an outlet for a lot of her anger. But then if you have in 2018, September 2018, she's calling someone dick rider in a derogatory way, it's kind of hard to believe you've evolved at all. It just kind of seems like you're just full of shit and you're just saying that to get out of it. Kind of like Elizabeth Warren as well, it's kind of suitable you're with her, who claims she's evolved on loads of stuff, but she was a Republican until she was like in her 50s or something. And then that really plays into the issue of who do you trust. And when you have Elizabeth Warren hiring people like this as surrogates, and when she goes on shows like TYT, tries to make the conversation all about Warren, then there is a massive problem there. So again, I am willing to feel some sympathy for her. I am willing to maybe take some of her points, but when you're tweeting homophobic stuff just a year ago, and then you're smearing Bernie Sanders for being a homophobe, I just find it hard to believe the entirety of your story, even if I'm willing to grant you some of it. So one more thing I want to say is I don't really blame TYT for this. They have loads of people on. I think they had people who worked in the Obama campaign. They've had lots of different people from different campaigns. They've obviously had a lot of the presidential candidates on as well. So I don't mind that they had this woman on their show. Just because she was a Warren surrogate, it's obviously problematic what she tweeted in the past, but can the Young Turks really do that much background research on everyone, you know, find tweets from 10 years ago? I don't think so. So I don't have any problem with TYT doing this. Obviously, they're probably not going to have her on again. And obviously, the Warren campaign can choose to distance themselves from her. I think it would be a good idea, but, you know, whatever. But it's just funny how everyone who tries to smear Bernie normally ends up having their own skeletons in their closet. And it's funny she specifically said Bernie was homophobic, and then it's found out only a year ago she's tweeting homophobic things. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this situation. If you like the video, please leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me at The Cavanacle on both Twitter and Instagram. I also have a Patreon, and I thank all my patrons. Please check that out in the description. I also have a WordPress blog as well, so check that out in the description as well. I try and live stream every single Sunday. I'm not doing it this Sunday, but I will hopefully pick up my schedule the following weekend, so please come check that out if you're around. It is really, really fun, and the audience for each Sunday is growing, so I'm really grateful to all the new people. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.